Welcome to In the Oven with Adam and Brad.
What's up, y'all?
So we had a fun night last night. We went to the culinary school, or I guess the state college that we have here locally at the culinary school, and they did is it a 9-course meal?
Yeah, 9-course meal.
Yeah, and it was a Japanese inspired meal. It was good. It was good. They had some really good stuff, some meh stuff.
Yeah,
but I actually think the gyoza might have been my favorite.
Yeah,
part.
dude, those were fire. Those were really good.
Yeah, and they were like leek and mushroom, I think, or something like that. Gyoza was really good. Yeah, I thought that was really good. There was like a miso corn.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. It tasted like just cornbread batter.
Yeah,
in a soup.
Yeah. The Japanese bread was obviously good. I'm a big stickler for bread. So, and then they had there was a lot of yuzu that they used throughout the menu. And so it was a yuzu butter that was good. Yeah. What was your favorite meal or favorite part of the meal?
I like that. I like the oyster mushrooms. Those were good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the main course that you had? Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Different. Little meatless action.
Yeah.
So I had some McCarthy's duck. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I think the gyoza was probably the tuna. Oh, and the tuna tartare on the rice patty.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you tried. That was probably my favorite, truthfully. And then my dessert was my favorite.
Oh yeah, you got the special birthday dessert.
Yeah, it was essentially brownies in a chocolate sphere that you poured hot caramel on top of that melted it all, and then there was like a whipped cream.
Yay!
Yeah,
birthday.
Yeah, today is the last podcast. Actually, today's the last day of me being a 37-year-old.
Yep.
Yeah, it's weird. 40 is coming.
Yes, it is. Pushing 40.
Yeah, I remember the day I turned 35, and my dad said, "Hey, every day is a day closer to 40 and further from 30." You know, so.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. I think he's like, officially, you're closer to 40 than you are 30 now.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, that's true. I don't know. 40 just seems like it's just like this. People make that. I mean, I feel like that birthday's made out to be like a big birthday.
Yeah, I don't know, man. When I was young, I felt like 30 was old.
Yeah.
Now it's like, kind of just hit my stride.
I mean, I think 40 though really is like from a statistical standpoint, you're halfway through.
Oh, yeah, true that. Yeah, you definitely are. Yeah, you definitely are.
That's a weird thing too, because I think we've talked about this before, but like your perceived time is actually going by quicker, as you get older, like for example, a 3-year-old, a year is a third of their life. So it seems like forever. Whereas when you're, 50, a year is like a week, if you will, it goes by so fast. And so, when you think about that, being 40 is halfway, or actually probably right now, truthfully halfway point of male life expectancy. But anyways, if you say 80 years, halfway your life, but also your perceived time is going by faster. I think they say that your perceived half-life is like 22 years old. Just like
so at 22, you feel like you're halfway through your life.
Yeah, like but the like perception of how fast time moves for
makes
you
sense. Makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I can see the amount of time it takes building up to 22. I mean, I remember. being a kid felt like it took a really long time.
Right.
And then now it feels like forever ago.
Right. And you look at your kids and how quick they're aging, and you're like, oh my gosh, I like blinked and you're a year older.
Yeah, it's wild. Getting old's not for the weak, that's for sure. I know you spend the first part of your life though, like as a kid, and just kind of in a certain, I don't know, the world's like not real yet. And so like, I feel like every year, even though it does feel like it flies by, I don't know, I make a lot more progress. Like I've got momentum going in life. So it feels good.
Yeah, it is weird to think about just like how backwards I feel like we live our lives. It's just like when you're a kid, you're like want to grow up, you want responsibility, you want all these things. And, obviously it depends on how you were brought up and what kind of situation you were brought up in. But like, I would say like a normal, nurturing, loving household, you're like want all this stuff. And then like all of a sudden you get it and you're like, oh man, nap time wasn't so bad after all.
Man, all of it, even like the decision fatigue. It's just like, you want all these choices, you want to make all these decisions. And now it's like, I wish someone would even just pick what's for dinner.
Yeah.
Just pick something for me.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyways.
Yeah, that's so true. I actually think that decision fatigue is like one of the biggest hurdles I have just as an entrepreneur. Like, I feel like as the day goes on and I have to make decisions, I'm just like, I don't even know what to do anymore. Like, I don't want to pick anything. Like, someone tell me what we should do.
Yeah, there's some days where you're like, I don't know or care, but I'm going to spend too much energy like trying to make the right decision. I'd rather just help pick up the pieces. Let's just, make the wrong decision right now and just
someone run and I'll just go with you.
Yeah, I got your back, but I just don't want to decide right now. It's tough. Yeah.
But dinner was a lot of fun. I guess what else do we have going on right now? I mean, obviously Fat and Weird, we have a lot going on. We're doing our collab cookie with GoPuff.
That's right.
There's 5 different flavors we're doing. I think it's Big Sexy, Wizard's Brew, Pitch Intense, Black Beauty,
Party.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So we're doing those cookies, and so right now we have a special flow film that we're wrapping them in. That's like a GoPuff Fat and Weird collab type cookie, and we are up against the clock.
That's right.
Essentially, the film got here. Well, would have got here on Monday. You actually picked it up Saturday. Thank you for like making sure to grease that wheel. And they want 150,000 cookies by Friday.
Essentially,
Yeah, Friday morning, Friday midday.
Yeah.
So we have been around the clock hustling and bustling to try to get 150,000 cookies ready for GoPuff's
give the customer
onboard.
what they want.
And then also simultaneously we are working on DoorDash's 420 cookie.
That's right.
And so they're getting about just over 15,000 of this one cookie that we're running for them. So yeah, that's been another, kind of like.
Yep. So check out your delivery apps. Check out Fat and Weird Cookie. We're on there.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, if you don't find us in your DoorDash, then check GoPuff. So yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. And then we just got invited to something with DoorDash. They're going to start doing, I think what they're seeing is like videos sell, right? Obviously, like, do you see how good like TikTok Shop and stuff like that goes? But they are starting to roll out this kind of like curated videos that you can provide on your page. I think there's going to be a fee associated for some people. We may be in some kind of like a piloting program, so we may have a less fee or waived. But where Aubrey and the team kind of went through and picked out some UGC videos, some break opens. It's kind of just the whole idea of like, everyone's seen like the Amazon product and you order it and you get it to your house and you're like, this is not at all what I was expecting. Right. So I think that's another thing DoorDash is trying to do is just like, what is the customer going to get on their end?
Well, yeah, it's cool, man, because, all the streaming sites, all the video sites, everything is all interconnected. So YouTube, you hit pause, they're starting to put ads up there for DoorDash for the different apps. Well, soon enough, one platform's either going to, gobble up another one, or they're just going to collaborate with each other. And you're going to be able to market directly via, a paused video or whatever to just deliver some food to your house. And so, they're all trying to get ahead of it, figure out what the next wave of social media is going to be,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's so funny. I mean, I've said this so many times on the podcast, but oil and gold used to be the currency.
Yeah.
And now it is data and attention.
Yeah.
That is the currency piece. If something is free, you're paying with either data or attention.
If something's free, you should be scared of it. I mean, you just should at first. You should be cautious of it anyways.
Well, someone told me the most expensive thing you'll ever get in your life is something that's free.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because you're paying with your data or you're paying with your attention. So, Liam wants to join the podcast.
Liam's wanting to join the podcast.
So that's another cool thing when the kids get older, that they can FaceTime.
So technology, right? When your kids have technology, obviously my kid's being homeschooled, so it's the middle of the day. But he gets a break or whatever, he can just pick up his iPad and call me. That's super cool.
Yeah,
it's neat.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what Garrison's put together for us today on our reaction videos. So. Okay. Well, this is from last week, so there we go. All right.
who have studied the subject know that Adolf Hitler didn't kill himself in a bunker in Berlin as the Red Army closed in. I think that's, we all know that was a fabricated story, or if you watch the show, you probably understand that. Hitler actually fled Germany weeks before that using a group of underground tunnels that led to an airstrip. And that airstrip was flown. He was flown from Berlin out. It took submarines, or multiple submarines that were used, U-boats that were then sent to Argentina. In other words, Hitler lived for nearly 2 decades more in Argentina, along with vast numbers of the Third Reich. Well, now Argentinian President...
Well, yeah, so Argentina has like declassified documents confirming that Hitler survived World War II and escaped to Argentina. And you had already kind of told me some of this stuff that, like, you've been to Argentina before?
Yeah, when I was a younger kid, they have a whole German area. I mean, I don't know if they have multiple areas, but they have a whole town that's like German.
Yeah.
So it's like blonde-haired people and everything else. So
yeah.
But yeah, there was always that kind of like, again, conspiracy nut type stuff, but there's that like open secret that like at least several of the high-ranking Nazis made it into Argentina and lived. The president of Argentina apparently is releasing some paperwork that says he did.
Well, I just want to preface this by saying we haven't fact-checked any of this stuff.
Yep. Do your own research.
First off, who fact-checks stuff on social media anyways? Like,
but so if that's true, then that's pretty shocking because all the world intelligence organizations would have known about it.
Right.
So...
Well, you have your own conspiracy theory about Osama bin Laden too.
Well, yeah, man. He just they ghosted him and threw him in the water.
Yeah,
it's a little sus.
Yeah, I think it's really
little sus. Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, right? And so, like, Hitler, finding out that Adolf Hitler was alive and lived for 20 more years. Yeah, it's can cause some outrage, but imagine the outrage it would have caused 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 40 years ago when there were like still victims alive and direct issues. And so same with like Osama bin Laden, there's still a lot of people alive that would be very upset if he was not apprehended or whatever for however you feel 9/11 occurred. But 20 years from now, 30 years from now, I mean, it's just going to be less. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think
sad.
Hitler ended up dying like in the 60s, correct?
That would have been the timeline.
Yeah, I think it was like in the 60s. So like this is now 60 years after his death.
Right.
So for us, it would literally be like them declassifying those documents in like 50 years from now, because that's kind of the timeline you're looking at,
Yeah. So, I mean, and again, I know Hitler did a lot more damage than the towers. I'm not trying to compare the two, obviously, but yeah. People would be, the outrage is gone. Like the JFK stuff. The outrage is just kind of like, oh, see, they did it.
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
Yeah. Right. So. All right. What else we got? Okay.
You enter a bakery and the baker offers you a deal. For every donut you eat, you will make $100,000. The catch is every donut you eat, you will gain 10 pounds. And the only way to lose the weight is by working out. You cannot get surgery to lose the weight. How many donuts are you eating?
I gain 10 pounds per donut.
Yeah. You also get 100K each donut.
Yeah. 10 pounds per donut. So I weigh 205. Nah, I weigh like...
Yeah. I mean, I'll let you hear their logic later on. But so... how many donuts would you eat if they give you $100,000 per donut, but you gain 10 pounds?
Per donut.
Per donut.
10 pounds of muscle?
No. It's 10 pounds of just pure fat. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. I'd have a hard time eating one.
Really?
I mean, yeah, dude. Maybe 50 pounds. I could lose 50 pounds. Oh, that would take so much effort to lose 50 pounds of fat.
Yeah, but you'd have $500,000.
I know. I'd rather just go work that hard making that money instead of working off all that fat. I'd probably do 50 pounds, up to 50 pounds.
That's funny because my number was 5 donuts, 50 pounds.
Up to 50 pounds.
I felt like, so for me, that'd be 250, and that's just a lot for my body, I feel like. Yeah. For you, it would be what?
280 something?
Yeah, I was going to say you're around 230 right now. So 280. You wouldn't be above 300.
No.
At 250, I mean...
you have sleep apnea and all kinds of bad stuff.
Well, you got to think, you're such a big guy, and so am I, and I stay so lean that 50 pounds, I mean, obviously, it would put me
Dude, I would hit the gym immediately.
Yeah.
immediately.
Well, you got to think, you know how to lose the weight. And with
Yeah,
that
I
much
know.
extra
That's why-
weight, you would
that-
come
yeah.
off like pretty fast in the
Yeah.
beginning. I mean, it would take you a year. It'd take you a year,
yeah,
but you'd have 500K.
get them good drugs. They didn't say you couldn't use drugs. Yeah, I do 5 donuts. Yeah, I got $500,000. I'll get the good stuff.
Yeah. But no, that's kind of my thought process. I was like, anyone that picks more than 50 pounds, you're either extremely thin or you're okay with the amount of like loose skin and everything you're going to have. 'Cause
dude.
50 extra pounds is a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. What was their logic?
Well, yeah, one of the guys said something similar. Like he just like, I couldn't put on that much weight. One dude was just like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, it was interesting going back and forth on it. But no, I think that for me, it would 5 donuts, 50 pounds, 500,000. I mean, 500,000 you can buy. I know I could buy one really good rental property or a couple rental properties like outright, should be able to make about $5,000 a month from that amount of money, close to it. So like that's $60,000 a year of recurring, money. So that's kind of my thought process behind 500K too.
Just to be a fatty.
Yeah.
For a year.
Well, have you seen the guy that stands outside of Crumble and offers people money to not get Crumble cookies?
That's hilarious.
So there's this guy that he'll stand outside and like Crumbles will like obviously try to kick him out, but like he literally stands there and like offers people like a lot of money, like too much money. Like I'm like, why do you have so much money that you're offering people?
What? Yeah. Why does he do it?
He was just this whole like it's bad for you type thing. Okay. But my thing is just like avoiding all things that are even a little bit bad for you is not a life to live to some extent, right? I mean, like obviously I don't think you should go buy a dozen of my cookies even and eat them all in one night. It's not good for you. But like if you buy a dozen of my cookies and you put them in your freezer and even every day you pull a cookie out and you cut it into pieces and you share it with some people, like, is that bad? No. I mean, that's probably about what I do every day. I mean, I would say on average, I eat probably at least a quarter of a cookie a day between our cookie recipe videos we do, trying them downstairs, things like that. So yeah. And I mean, I think that's fine. Quarter to a half. Yeah. If you're eating one full cookie a day, maybe not the greatest, but if that's the only bad thing you're eating all day, it's like...
Right. Yeah, if you're moderating everything else, you still probably have it in pretty good check. People stay up way too late. They get, drink too much. They smoke. They do all kinds of... I mean, like, if you got it in check and you're... Yeah, moderation is good, but you should enjoy yourself too, man.
Yeah.
Life's short.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing that I've changed about the way I used to do things. Like, I used to eat a lot of, like, Arctic Zero and then Halo Top ice cream and stuff like that because like I just didn't want to eat like the full calorie ice cream. But now I'll buy the full calorie ice cream and I'll just have like a couple spoonfuls of them and I'll be like, oh wow, that was so good, instead of eating essentially like protein ice water.
Well, yeah, it's kind of, you'll see though that removing it all sometimes leads to that binge eating when you get it. Because you just like, oh, I got the sugar, I need it all. Yeah. And so that's what I found was when I would like completely remove it. I felt good about myself that I was, eating healthy and everything. But then if I had a moment of weakness, dude, I would eat the whole carton of whatever it was.
I've never binged more in my life than when I was in prep.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, it's an emotional thing. Your hormones are out of whack.
Well, I mean, and it was mainly when I got given my cheat meal. So it wasn't like I was even cheating on my diet. But when my coach would be like, "Oh, you can have a cheat meal," I would just go
blow it out
hard. I mean, to the point where like I was in pain. Yeah. My stomach hurt because it was so full. And you know how much food like I can eat. And like, I mean, shoot. I mean, there was one time that I ate like an entire like 18-inch pizza and then ate like a pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream and then just like kept eating just like random other snack foods. And I remember like laying in the bed and like I was so uncomfortable that I like couldn't even like sleep. Like my stomach hurt to lay on my back. It just felt like my stomach was just, and I couldn't lay on my side or my stomach. So it's just
man. When I first got into powerlifting, it was once a week. I would do one cheat meal and they just started getting ridiculously epic. And it was pain every week.
Yeah. I remember one time I went to Red Robin. I had like a burger, but then I had like 4 baskets of sweet potato fries. And then went back and I used to make chocolate chip pancakes, and then I would take ice cream and I would call them dessert cakes.
Oh,
and I
yeah,
was
okay.
literally just putting ice cream on pancakes. 'Cause, I mean, think about it. A pancake is just a miniature cake.
Yep, just
So
a
I was just
little
making,
cake.
I was making essentially
Ice cream
sandwiches out of
Cake.
pancakes.
Nice.
So yeah, or I would make like a whole thing of brownie mix and eat the whole pan of brownies, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah. I
binge
definitely
eating is way worse than moderation for sure.
Yeah, and I mean that all started because I was like, oh, I can't have any. It's like now Aubrey and I will go to Slice House when I want pizza, and instead of me eating a whole pizza, I'll eat a slice or two, and it's like,
Same.
oh,
Yep.
great, this is
Yep.
good.
That's
You know,
the slice I wanted. It's good, full,
yeah.
done. Yeah.
I think this is the terrible thing you tell yourself is like you'll have a bite that's not good, and you'll be like, oh, the next bite will be better. And there's something that I used to say that literally is I feel like it's just still rings true. It's just like there's no bite is as good as the first bite.
Oh yeah.
When you eat a dessert or you eat anything, no bite will be as good as that first bite. It's the anticipation mixed with like that moment of experiencing it.
Yep.
Like that's the high. Everything else, it's like honestly, it's like being a drug addict.
Yeah.
It's where you're like chasing that feeling again, but like you're never gonna get it. And
Well,
so,
yeah, and then there's the hedonistic principle too. So it's like once you've had something that's a certain level, everything else kind of feels below that level.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, if you go in for that best bite, you know, you mix all the things together or whatever you're supposed to do, then you just get a little bite of the side or whatever. It's definitely worse.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, what we got next, Garrison?
When 1 second can save your life. Oh yeah, we got that man and boogied.
Dude, the guy on the back.
What is he on, man? His belly? But like, was he on? Oh, there's it goes his board or something. Got sucked up in the wave.
Right, but like, was he on his belly the whole time riding on that thing?
Dude.
Dude.
The deuce.
I'll tell you right now, being behind a jet ski going as fast as that
Oh,
jet
yeah.
ski's probably going, when you're like, that can't feel that great.
No.
But
No.
also, it would not feel great to get tumbled by this 30-foot wave or whatever.
That was massive. I wonder if he was going to try to,
surf it and
ride
he just like
that.
lost it.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Can you surf? Have you ever surfed?
I've stood up on a board. Nothing
Oh, really?
like that. Like on our level waves when they're windy.
You know,
yeah.
still. I mean, I've never surfed.
I could surf, but no, I mean, like I've been able to pop up on a board. I weighed a hell of a lot less. I'm interested in the surf part coming. It's something I would like to try, but I don't want to do anything that's going to like hurt myself.
Yeah.
Really.
That's like my dad in the flow riding thing.
Yeah.
But I've heard that it's not like surfing at all. It's more like snowboarding.
Oh, okay.
Because the waves are like coming at you so fast that it's more like, you know, if you bite that edge, and it is a small board that looks more like a snowboard. So it's a lot more people that are really good at snowboarding are usually really good at the flow riding stuff.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, I'd be interested in surfing. I remember around here, there's a lot of kids that were really good, like skimboarding and stuff like that.
Yeah, I skimboarded when I was a kid. Not competitively at all, but I skimboarded. That was fun. But yeah.
I had a hard time committing to like jumping on a moving board at running as fast as you need to run because when you fall, it hurts.
Oh, it hurts. The friends initially I was scared too because they were all so much better than me that like I could not understand what they were doing. It wasn't until like I think it was just somewhere some other kids were doing it. Those like like little flat almost pan bird bath looking areas that form on the beach after it rains or whatever. They were skimming on that and I was like, oh, it was so much easier than everybody else was doing it as the waves were like coming in and they were like riding it back out and like doing stuff off the wave. And I would throw it and the board would just hit the sand and stop.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so
you
like,
jump on it and then you would keep going and the board would stop and you'd be like,
yeah. So anyways, but it wasn't until like they did it like that I like got the concept of it. And then, I mean, I didn't get much better, but I did it enough.
Yeah, I also think I was just like kind of like when I was trying, I was like in my pudgy phase and was not very athletic, and I just like was weighing too much probably for the board I had, and so
there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, but no, I definitely would try out surfboard. So
you don't want your kids to be screwing around on their phones at dinner, you put your phone away and you're not looking at it and you're having a conversation with them at dinner. And it won't work right away, but that model really works. If you want your kids to practice the faith, you must practice the faith. If you don't want your kids to drink, you shouldn't drink. If you don't want your kids to be abusive, yelling taunts out the car window in traffic, you better never do that. You better live thinking, I'm going to live as if I were the man I want my son to be. That's how you live. And that's what really matters.
Deep. True though.
Yeah, I think that's why you as a parent cringe when you see your child do something, especially if it's like something you don't do in the house, because you're like, oh my God, people are gonna think we do this in the house. Yep. Like, where did they learn this thing? But yeah,
they learn everything, and they learn it from their parents mostly, you know. And it may be their interpretation of you, it may be, but man, I've just seen it in all three of my kids. And again, it won't be, you know, they're a little mini version of you. They're not you. So it won't be the way you do it. But like, man, you know, my son has mannerisms. My middle daughter has a ton. Her and my wife get after it towards each other. They don't realize how similar they are. And so, you know, it's tough. And how do you, so some of that's pretty easy. No electronics at the table. Yes, that's great. No, you don't want your kids to grow up idolizing alcohol. Don't drink alcohol. You don't want your kids to grow up doing certain things. You don't be a jerk in traffic. They are less likely. But like, there's just certain character traits that we all have that like you train your kids and you don't mean to, but like, how do you not be yourself?
Yeah,
it's tough.
Well, like I would not say like I have road rage because I don't like honk at people or cut people off or like go that extent. But I definitely voice how I feel about other drivers like in my car. I'm like, you know, that person's an idiot, or like, why did they have to pull out in front of me? Like, I don't ever like honk or get mad about it, but like say these things. And apparently I sometimes say effing car, like when a car like cuts me off or like does something stupid. Well, Letty one day was just like effing car. And I was like, ooh, all right, I need to stop saying that so much. So so I've been trying to like really just be like more relaxed when I drive, which is not easy for me. Garrison's laughing over there. So
yeah, I mean, just definitely above all, setting the example for your kids, you know, thinking, being the best version of yourself, trying to be the man that my son will be when he grows up or whatever. Yeah, that's great. I think we should all try to be that way. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I truly believe that like parenting a lot is about like how you just act, like not even your interactions with your child. It's just like your child watching you.
Yep, they're watching you.
Because, you know, when I see Letty interact with other small babies and stuff now, she'll always say things that I've heard Aubrey say about other babies. She'd be like, oh, he's so cute. Look at his little chunky legs. She says like words that like chunky and things like that she wouldn't say any other time.
Oh yeah.
But she always talks in this like little baby voice. And I mean, it's like when I should record her because it is 100% Aubrey. Whenever I see her like either FaceTime other babies or talk to
that's
Becca
all they know. That's all they know. That's what they're supposed to do. I remember our girls doing that.
But like that was no interaction with her that she would remember as a child. This is all stuff she's like watched Aubrey do and she's emulating that behavior. So a lot of people think that like, oh, how I talk to my kids, how I treat them, that's like all that matters. It's like, it's everything that you're doing. It's like how you talk to your spouse. Like how do you talk to your waiters and waitresses at restaurants? Like, you know, how do you talk to your parents? And they emulate like all of that stuff.
Yeah, man, all the way down to manners. You know, a lot of folks are quick to tell their kids they need to use manners, but don't use manners themselves.
Yeah.
So like if you want your kids to say please and thank you, you start saying please and thank you. It's very easy.
Yeah, 100%.
It's very easy.
Yeah, the hardest one is like right now we're trying to teach Letty how to like to say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. But like Aubrey and I don't say it to each other.
Right.
And there's usually not anyone else that we're with that it naturally kind of comes out that way, you know? So like we've now like kind of like tried to like throw it into our lingo to try to just like help establish that.
I mean, I don't know. I taught our kids and it's same deal. This is how you address, you know, folks that are older than you. It's how you address, you know, you're just respectful for your elders. I know it's a very Southern thing. We got some folks that were like, well, it's so Southern. It's like, well, I don't care. It's polite. It's respectful. Everyone should do it. Like,
right.
I don't know why we stopped, but
yeah, I mean, I definitely remember the first time people started hitting me with the sir. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a few of those that stung, but I mean, it just is what it is. Like, I mean, it doesn't bother me at all anymore. I don't really care. I think it's a respectful thing. I do it. If somebody is substantially older than me, then I am going to use that just generically with them.
Right.
And then, of course, any position of respect or any position that, it's just maybe a military thing, but like.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, not that I did it before, but I think the military really ingrained it into me, because some of the people like were not older than me.
Right.
There were some people that technically were higher ranked than me, but they were like my age or younger, and
all the
just based
officers
on
for me.
just based on how they went through programs and stuff like that, because like I didn't get out of the military, or I didn't join the military until I was like 23, because engineering is like a 5-year program at UF, and there's some people that like fast track through and like were officers at 20, 21. So it was rare that they were like older than me, younger than me, but yeah. Oh, speaking of college, Florida won the national championship. I don't know if you saw that. So they won the basketball national championship.
Congratulations.
Last night. They only led in the game for 40 seconds of the entire 40-minute game. But they led the 40 seconds.
That was the right 40 seconds.
No, for real. They apparently led for like 16 seconds at the beginning of the game when they went up like 8-6 or something like that. And then they did not have a lead again until the final 20 seconds of the game.
Saved it up.
So it's pretty crazy that,
That's wild.
But obviously this year has been a very great year for like college basketball stuff. I know you don't follow sports that closely, but all the number 1 seeds made it to the Final Four. So I don't know how much you know. I know you know some stuff, but like essentially they rank like 1 through 8 seeds, right? I'm pretty sure it's 1 through 8. Yeah, 1 through 8 seeds in north, south, east, and west is how they kind of break it up. And so, all the 1 seeds made it to the Final Four. And then Florida played Auburn, and Florida won against Auburn again, kind of like very close game. Yep. And then Houston played Duke, and Houston ended up coming back and beating Duke in the very final minutes of that game. Right. So all the games were like down to the wire, and then this one was too. Nice. So yeah, it was one of Florida's players was the first player since Larry Bird to score 30 points in the Elite 8 and the Final Four. Nice. And so Houston like double teamed him all night. He barely had any points, but he like kind of came out with like a really good block at the very end of the game that like sealed the deal. So
solid.
Yeah, pretty cool. They haven't won a basketball national championship since I was there in 2006, season. So
been a minute.
Yeah. So, but no, it was it's really cool to see them win, because I didn't even honestly like when you graduate college. I feel like unless you're like a diehard fan, you just don't. Yeah. Like I watched the games when there's like nothing on. I'm like, oh look, Florida's playing. I'll watch the game. Yeah. But like I know a couple of the players' names just from watching a few of the games. Right. But like not a diehard basketball fan. Even football, like I'll watch the games when they're on, but I'm not like changing my Saturday schedule to watch the games.
Yeah. No.
But it's always cool when your school wins, because now you kind of got like bragging rights.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, if you went
like,
to school there, you get to claim it. Otherwise, you got to stay a hardcore fan, or you don't get to claim it.
That's how I feel about it too. Yeah, you got if you didn't go to school there, then you have to be like, I watch every season and I know a lot about the team, because like that's your way of.
That's your contribution.
Yep. Otherwise, I spent too much money to go to this school, so I contributed. So, all right, here we go. How smooth Earth is with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Let's see.
You know the deepest point of Earth's crust? Marianas Trench. Do you know how far down that is? 6 miles down. Do you know the highest point above sea level? Mount Everest. How high up is that? 5 miles. So the lowest point on our crust to the highest point is like 11 miles. It's less than the length of Manhattan. And how wide is Earth? 8,000 miles across. If you were a cosmic finger and came up to the Earth and rubbed your finger across it, you would not be able to distinguish mountain from valley, from dry from wet. Because the depth of the grooves in your fingerprint would be greater than the texture on the surface of this planet. We're all deluded because the school globe in your classroom, they're lying.
Oh, that is very crazy to think about.
There's so much going on there.
Yeah. But no, to think about, like, if you were to take the Earth and you were to like shrink it down into something you could hold in your hand and just like rub it in your hands, like it would feel like a perfectly smooth ball to you.
Yeah, if a giant Earth man finger went into space and started rubbing on the Earth, maybe, but like I don't think so. I don't think so, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think if you shrunk Earth down, my fingers would feel it just fine.
You don't think you would? You think you would feel the changes? No, that's what he's saying. The Earth is 8,000 miles in diameter, and then the from the tallest point on the Earth to the lowest point on Earth is 11 miles. So ratio wise, once you shrunk that down, it would feel like a
but how
perfectly
wide
smooth
are
sphere.
oceans?
How wide are oceans?
Wide
Yeah.
and deep, right? So there'd be like crevices all over. Feel like a basketball.
No.
It would at least feel like a basketball.
No, that's what he's saying. It wouldn't.
I don't believe him.
He's saying that
So you would just slosh your fingers into the Atlantic Ocean and you would be like, I don't feel any of this.
No, I think he's saying like there's no water there, but like you're just rubbing like the formation of the Earth, like the crust. You wouldn't feel any difference.
Maybe I'll just have super fingers.
He's saying that the depth of it would be less than the depth of your fingerprint.
No, it would. No. That didn't make sense.
He's like, I'm not buying it.
I'm not buying it, man. A big old Earth man finger flying through space trying to touch planet balls. Like, nah, dude. I'd feel it. It wouldn't be smooth.
It would be so perfectly smooth.
Nah.
Like it would like your palm is rougher.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I'm now gonna get someone to make
have them make it.
I'm gonna make a ball that's like the size of like a baseball or something.
Man, they gotta wrap.
Like,
they first of all, you got to pretend that the Earth is even round. Okay, so once you make it into a sphere from its flat shape, maybe that's what he's saying.
People are gonna.
It's flat like a plate. I don't think it's flat, but I do think there'd be bumps all over that mother.
All right. We have anything else, or is that all you got? All right.
What is the difference between those who grow up in wealth versus those that don't grow up with money?
It's a very good question. And the ones I was lucky to befriend, they don't feel inferior to money. I think a lot of us that we came from a modest background or a simple background, it's a taboo. It's like, how can I get it? You know? And I really believe law of attraction only works not by what you write down or what you say out loud. I think law of attraction is based on conviction, inner conviction. And if your inner conviction is clear that Lewis actually inside believes he will have the best-selling book next year. For example, you truly think, no, my book, I wrote it so well, it has a definite chance for it. Then you have a chance.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say. When you grow up, working class or whatever, there is always that struggle that like money, not that we don't earn it, but like that it has to be like fought for. There are other folks, and you can take what you want. Some people say, growing up with a silver spoon in your mouth leads to this or that. But like folks that grow up are wealthy people that grow up wealthy. There's an abundance mindset. I know that's commonly used, but there's like money's just everywhere. You just kind of have to go get it. They believe that it will come to them through their actions, or like he was saying, the author or whatever. But a lot of these folks, even a lot of these startup guys, they come from money, and people take that away from what they're doing. But it gave them the place to just believe that what they were about to do was possible. I don't know that you can really change that a ton other than like being exposed to it. So the more I've exposed myself to folks that just have that abundance mindset, it's not just somebody who went out and like hustled and can just necessarily grinded their way, but the folks that just believe anything's possible with the right attitude, effort. That the more I've exposed myself to those type of people, the more you realize like, oh, anything kind of is possible.
Yeah. You
just need the right either amount of money behind you or energy or focus, people or attention or whatever. Yeah. And it kind of is, because randomly somebody would be like, oh, Mr. Beast just made a Lunchables clone. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think for me the hardest part about that is like one, finding people to like surround yourself with, especially I feel like when you're in a smaller town like us. I mean, there are people that are obviously wildly successful here, but as you kind of go to bigger cities, it's easier to find like people that have that kind of mindset. You've probably met a lot of them at events that you've went to and things like that.
Mainly. It's hard in this town, and it's also hard to separate the real folks from the fakers because there are a lot of wannabes that I think want to have that abundance mindset, but when they start to get anything, they start to like hoard their little piece, and they're not particularly helpful to you. And the thing with that is you'll know you found these people because it's not really a give and get. They're just kind of like, here, man, here's some free advice. Here's my old advice. Here's some wisdom I thought of earlier today. Because they're so sure of themselves, like they know they're going to come up with new stuff, or they know they're going to just have it. Now, of course, they keep their intellectual property and all that. They're not giving away their valuables, but like, there's the other type of
they're willing to mentor you.
They're willing to mentor you. They're just like, here, man, I remember what it was like to be there. Come on up. You know, and they
or if you tell a victory to, even if they've like done leaps and bounds more than that, they like are actually happy for you and proud for you and things like that.
Yeah, you know, if you're climbing on the mountain and somebody's climbing up faster than you from the bottom, man, just have them throw a couple leads in for you up top when you might be tired instead of like kicking them down.
Right.
But yeah, so, you know, you can find a lot of folks, and I've found that, again, I look at wealthy as when whatever your lifestyle is, you've got enough money to cover that lifestyle forever. So you can be wealthy and not have a ton of money. You can have a ton of money and be wealthy too.
You can have a ton of money and not be wealthy.
Right. You can have a ton of money and not be wealthy if your lifestyle outruns that. Then there are folks that are just, you know, they're rich or they're making a ton of money. I've found that when folks reach that wealthy point, though, their perspectives change on a lot of things, and they do seem to just be a lot more helpful. I don't know.
I feel like that also is because they're so secure.
Yeah, it's a security thing.
It is a security thing because you know when you're like grinding, you know, like you were doing the analogy of climbing the mountain. When you're like grinding up that mountain and you're not secure, and you see someone coming up, you get more anxious about like trying to go faster or like, you know, I don't know, getting in their way. Because almost like you're scared they're going to get in front of you and then they're going to start making parts of the mountain fall on you, or they're going to ruin your path or whatever it is. When a lot of times, if you do, like you said, which is like give them a helping hand, when they pass you, a lot of times they're willing to help you on the other side of that. I think of a couple examples of that one. You know, when we started Fat and Weird, I asked a lot of questions to Detroit Cookie Company, Tony, and about like, you know, setting up equipment and stuff like that. He knew we were doing e-commerce, and he was mainly doing his storefronts, but like we're still in the same world. We're still cookies. And like he like, you know, is the one that helped me like source mixers and like some of the stuff that we did. Cause you know, mixers brand new are like $40,000. Oh, yeah. And he helped me get them for like 10.
Yep.
And so yeah, he helped me with some of that stuff. And then, you know, turn around and all of a sudden COVID happens and he's now needing to sell online, and he's contacting me going like, hey,
how do I do this?
Yeah. What shipping software do you use? Like what, you know, what printer do you have? Like what's your shipping rates? And like, I'm helping him with all that stuff. And so, you know, it's just one of those things that I feel like a lot of people treat this world so much like a competition, and there really is like enough for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about it. I mean, Nike and Adidas and Lululemon, they like all exist, right? And they're competitors, but at the same time, it's like there's a market for everyone.
Yep.
And sure, I guess in their mind, they want the whole market, but it's just that's not going to happen.
You're not getting it.
Yeah,
you're not getting it.
So you might as well be in competition against people that you like.
Yep.
Because then at least it's like more like friendly war,
rivalry,
you know,
for sure.
You know, and not like I hate this person.
Yeah.
You know? So is that it? Is that all we got? You got anything else for the people?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think, you know, my half marathon training's going decent.
Yeah.
I just like can't believe it's only 18 days away. And I don't know. I'm just like, I set a very aggressive goal, you know, like I was going to shoot for 2 hours and I came down to 1:45, which is essentially shaving over a minute off of your time. Like I needed to run like a 9:05 or something, and now I got to run like an 8-minute flat. So I mean, I think 2 hours was too lax. I think I definitely could do that. I think probably I should have aimed for maybe split the difference, be around a minute.
Come on, man, you
an
got
hour
it.
50 or
You
so.
got it.
But yeah, well, I'm gonna try.
Yeah, you are.
Try my best. I have another dry needling and chiropractic appointment on Thursday.
Okay.
So, and then Garrison and I are running a trial half marathon in my shoes that I got.
Nice.
With the carbon plates.
Break
and
them
everything.
in.
Yeah. And so I told him I haven't decided if I want to like set my half marathon pace and just like go and just see how it goes, or if I want to just like set a little bit of a slower pace and just get like, by slower I mean like 8.5 minutes and just try to run the whole thing at that pace, and then maybe somewhere near the end try to like run some like 8-minute spurts. Because I also don't want to like, I don't want to set 8 minutes, get out there and actually do it, and then not do it on race day and be like, well.
And if it sucks, it only needs to suck that hard once. You'll do it. It's race day. It's game time at that point. I think getting your legs underneath you and getting a trial underneath you, throttling back, giving yourself some confidence of like, okay, I can do this. I can definitely turn it up later. Yeah, that's what I would do. And then at the end, make it suck for like the last, I don't know, 20 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I think for me, like, I know there's a lot of people that will, run a half marathon and they'll never, ever run the half marathon until that. I like want to know what it's going to feel like. I'm that kind of person, like I want to, like, I'm like, I need to have an idea to just like know the pain that I'm going to put myself through, that I can like mentally be ready to like go endure it, you know? So also it's just like, I don't know. I think sometimes people, you've seen the analogy of people like digging and there's like gold, like, or diamond or something like right underneath, and they give up and it's like right there. I think sometimes I want to go through the process to like know what the whole process feels like, so that I don't give up when I'm 90% of the way through,
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think you should practice the thing. I mean, I guess to me that's a weird thing that like certain endurance athletes do that makes sense on like 100-miler or something like that.
Like you're not going to do an Ironman before the Ironman.
Right, but like you're going to play tennis before you play tennis. You're going to squat before you do a powerlifting competition. Right. I don't know. Maybe you don't like run your pace, just like maybe you don't lift your max lift, but like you still do it.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's what I said. It's like maybe set like a 8:30 pace, which is, I mean, is close to my marathon pace, but it's not really when you think about over the course of 13 miles. It's like you're going to be like 7 minutes off of your marathon. So like I'd be running like a 1:52 if that's the case, and then at least my legs get used to moving almost as fast as they need to move. So at the 13-mile point, it's going to feel very similar as far as like leg exhaustion. Yeah. And like you said, I want to break in my shoes. I guess I've always, when we were kids, remember you would like wear your shoes around like on short distances before you wore them all day, because otherwise it'd be like hurt. But like I don't know, nowadays people don't break in shoes. Like literally I broke in my shoes by like just putting them on and going on a run.
Technology.
So I mean, I think shoes definitely are way better than they used to be, for sure. I mean, well, I read that Nike book when they were like doing the air cushions and the soles and stuff. It is wild to think about some of the innovations in shoes that were pushed because of, I mean, Nike did push a lot of innovations. Like the whole waffle comb pattern on the bottom of your shoes was pushed by them and things like that. So it's definitely interesting to think about. I mean, I guess that's another good thing about competition is it usually breeds innovation.
It does. Yeah, it does.
So
yeah.
Business news. Did you see that? Gosh, what's the name of the popcorn? I shouldn't know the name of the popcorn company that got bought by Hershey's. Lesser Evil. Yeah. Yeah. They have like kind of like the monk looking guy that's on the front of it. The pink Himalayan sea salt is like one of their flavors.
Paid.
Yeah. 750 million, right? I think it was what
popcorn paid.
Maybe I'm off. Is it 750 million? I don't know. You can look it up. Lesser Evil popcorn bought by Hershey's. But yeah, so it's funny because they said that Hershey's has now acquired like 3 companies this year. Obviously, Sour Strips being,
going on a spending spree.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's what they said. A lot of CPG brands are purchasing other companies. I mean, we've seen that. We saw Ghost get acquired by Keurig Dr. Pepper. We saw Alani Nu get acquired by Celsius, which is owned by Pepsi. Yep. Weird though. I mean, like they own them, but they're still separate. so technically Celsius bought Alani Nu, which I didn't realize that Celsius was that much bigger.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
But I mean, they brought on some debt to do it. Did you find out how much it was? Yeah, $750 million. Lesser evil. So
be a nice payday.
Yeah, they're really moving into some different. So like I don't know. Hershey's does have gummy candies, I think, of some kind. I don't know. You'd have to look up can you look up what Hershey's gummy
Twizzlers?
Like, is it Twizzlers? They have Twizzlers and like one other thing, I think.
Okay.
So Sour Strips was like kind of their way of like trying to enter more of that like
gummy world.
Yeah, gummy market. And now obviously they're getting into the popcorn and snacks. And so yeah, it's interesting to see them kind of like spreading out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And you know what the plan and idea for all this stuff is. So yeah, Twizzlers and Jolly Ranchers.
Rancher.
That's what it is. Yeah. So, yeah.
Jolly Ranchers gummies, man, that was really popular for Jolly Rancher because they were on their way out.
Well, nerds were on their way out until Nerds
Nerd
Clusters.
Gummies, yeah, I know. Nerd clusters are the
They
truth,
literally
dude.
it's like 10x the size of Nerds.
Yeah.
That company. So, but all right. Well, we've been doing it for long enough, for about 45 minutes. So I'll let you off the hook this time. So
True that.
All right. As always, thanks for watching. Do hard shit.
See ya.